We're good.
All right, Cardi, you want to do BTC first?
Yeah, sure. All right. Pumping, huh?
Yeah, boy. This is
All right,
level.
guys.
Everybody's
So
scared.
I'm gonna go over. I had a request yesterday to go over the volume bars and why I don't really use them. But if you use them, I'm gonna show you like how to properly use them because one of the beauties of crypto is that there's so much free data and so much transparency on data that allows you to, kind of, let's say, outtrade the people that just look at the volume. Okay. But yesterday we had that dump, right? And on this I'm looking at the 5-minute chart here, this candle right here, like every time you see one of these, it's good for a bounce, and then you can just see what the follow through is. But obviously we formed some dolly. So I see this dump yesterday, and I told you guys 14.6 was coming to 480 is where I bought. I'm already out of that long. I don't have anything. I wish I held it. I closed it at 15K because I thought that'd be resistance, but it was like cut like butter. But so a lot of you guys, I noticed in the group, I'm just reading margin yesterday. I wasn't very active, but I read, and I see like a lot of people are, I don't know, getting stopped or saying they're risking more because it's like a bull run or whatnot. Like that's the wrong mentality to use. Like you can't think like every time this got rejected, do you think it was going to keep going higher here? Like you can't think like that. Okay, so don't increase your risk. The only time you should increase your risk is when, let's say, BitMEX arrested. That's where you increase your risk. You could put like 10% of your portfolio and market short that. Like this is so volatile that like getting like one large position in and having a close stop, it ain't going to work in my opinion. Okay, like just look at this bounce we had. The dump yesterday was 7% down, and since then we're up 8% or 7% again. So we retraced the whole dump pretty much. So it's pretty volatile, right? And like if I look at the 5-minute candles, or even the 1-minute candles, like these aren't like small moves anymore, eh? Like this is a 1% move in like a half hour, and then so you might say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna long this, my stop right here, and then they just bring it down like another 1%, so it's like it's really, really volatile. But I think I like you guys have seen the way I've been trading in margin. I've been pretty spot on this because like I'm just patient and I'm just layering bids. Like I just buy the fucking dip. Literally, I buy the dip. So all you got to do, seriously, I'm like, this is no joke. Like we're trading here right now. Okay, like you guys will notice. I'll show you guys lines on charts in a second, but I don't even use them anymore. I really don't. I don't need any lines on charts because I don't go one position. I'm just buying an area. So right now, I'd buy this whole area here. I'd buy this, and if it fails, then I'm buying this. I'll buy this. Like if you don't think I'm going to have $400 worth of bids and play a bounce, you're wrong. Okay, so when I long, I'm not longing for 20K. Okay, like if I caught in this area and I get $100 bounce, $200 bounce, thank you. I'm taking my fucking money because who knows what the follow through is. So yesterday when we went to like I wasn't home when this dump happened and I caught it, but thank God I had like layered bids and I was like kind of nervous, like when 14.6 right here. So this dump right here, I thought this was going to be kind of like the bottom area, and then we saw like it roll down again. So like that kind of scared me. But I had bids all the way to like 14.4, and my stop was like 14.2. So it was okay. My average entry, I think, ended up being like 520, which like at the time wasn't great, but it came up here, and I ended up lucking out on that one. But like being lucky is not as good as being smart. And in any case, look, even if like let's say you said, okay, I'm gonna fucking go at 14.6, I'm longing. Okay, they gave you like a 3% bounce before they rolled over again. Okay, so like why wouldn't you take profit after that? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like people on this like maybe it's the way you see other people winning and you see like their style of trading. Like not everybody's style of trading is the same for you, and I'm sorry, but if you don't if you catch the bottom here at 14.7, 14.6, whatever, and or 14.6 here, actually 14.6 was here, and they gave what, a 1% bounce. They gave a 1% bounce, and you see that let me turn this off, and you see here that like this is like on the 1 minute. Okay, so like you see this held, it breaks it, you buy 14.6. Okay, you buy this, it gives you like a 1% bounce, 1.5% bounce, which isn't like a month ago you're begging for a 1.5% bounce. Like 10,000 in the 10,000 area, you're begging for like $100 move sometimes. Gives you 1.5% bounce and doesn't break this line. Like it's good chance it's gonna roll over again. So you might as well just take some profit, even if it's like half. And if it fucking doesn't roll over and it goes like a dollar, like there's always a way back in. Okay, like look, this formed the support here. All right, this formed the support here, right? So like let's say you miss this and it comes here, it bounces and starts going up here. You could place bids again all the way down here, like KJ would say. Like you play that horseshoe here. If it were to come down, you're getting some bids, and then you're getting filled. So me personally, like I don't think I've lost a trade on Bitcoin in like 2 weeks, just because I layer bids, but I never get full size. By the way, I always get small sizes because like I'm playing at the extremes, and like, but it doesn't bother me because you could trade like the other day I took 7 Bitcoin trades in one day. And they all added up to like 4% gain on my account, which for me I'm happy with. Like a lot of small trades because of the volatility. You guys got to understand this is volatile. It's like trading an altcoin right now. Okay. For people that like line on charts, resistance above. All right. So I have like the BIMX because we have the price here. I'm just looking at a few key areas here on the 3-day. That's all I look at, like around here. That's really all I'm looking at here. We got some like prices here that you can mark off on your chart, just for just so you know like where there would be support, where there would be resistance, like on a macro scale, right? So we got like so I marked these off, right? And then we have, so look, it just rejected this morning actually, just now, or sorry, rejected like yesterday. So rejected yesterday, this area 833 or whatever. Could have shorted it, or the other day, sorry, the other day when we went to try 16K. Could have shorted, I guess. And then look, it came down here. You could have bought this price, 700. I guess you're buying all the way down to 14K at this point, which isn't the greatest area. You come up here. If you watch some of my other live streams, on an altcoin, I would short this area on a retest, right? So look, it just rejected here. That's how we've been shorting altcoins. We look for this, the consolidation breakdown, where it was once support, we reshorted, so it just failed right there. I guess if I wasn't on this call, I would have shorted, but I'm not shorting anything these days. I'd rather buy the dip. So like I said, I'm buying everything here. All right. And it's really like these lines on charts when I trade, like I don't have them. I just use this. And for me, it's I just look, okay, this whole area should have been bought. All right. So this whole area here is going to get bought again. I'm very confident in it. There was buyers here before. As we come back down here, it should bounce here. Okay. So place your bids here. Your stop, I guess, would be down here. And if you're wrong, it's coming down here anyway. So you should have more bids here. Now, people wanted to like me personally, I'm bullish. Like you just buy the fucking dip. Like, look, this is a $800 bounce, a $700 bounce. Like it's not more. It's $1,000 bounce. No, not 1,000, 800. So it's a big bounce, and they're bouncing like crazy. All these things, and it's worth it. It's worth it just to buy the dip. Don't even look to short unless you're like a day trader. If you're like someone who's like been losing or has no more confidence because the market's been chopping you up, just have bids. And if they don't fill, who cares? You have Bitcoin anyways on spot. So just fucking have bids. All right. So just buy this area. And I said yesterday, 14.6 to 14.480, I was buying. So I went to like, and that was like before it even crossed 15,000. I said, guys, 14.6 is coming to 14, like 400. And like we went to 350. So it's just an area to buy. And like me, I got like filled full size here. I was very, very scared on full size because I don't usually trade full size. because like I'm so conservative on my entries and the volatility that like as soon as it bounced a bit, I already cut like 40% and then refilled and then put more bids down here for a third leg, but it never gave it. So, and then I closed it at 15K. I ended up making some good money on it, so I'm not upset. But I'm not gonna like boast about what I did. I'm just saying much longer. I'm just saying that with this volatility, if you're trying to do one, if you could trade with one large order, like KJ is good at that. Like he'll wait for like exhaustion and then he enters. Like I can't do that. I'm not good at it, but it depends on your trading style, right? So he'll wait for here. He sees this. He says, okay, I'm longing this full size and the stop low here or whatever. Like I can't do that. It's just not the way I trade. But he does it. He's amazing at it. So if he says that, I would listen to him. But me, I just can't do it. So I just layer. Like I say, I just buy areas. Like where would there be buyers? Where would there be sellers? There's going to be sellers all up here, right? There's all going to be sellers here. And if it gets blown out, then it gets blown out. But last thing I'll talk about here, I'm bullish. I think we're going to go to fucking 25K. I've said in the last call, like I think 25K is coming quicker than you think, and it's like going to be choppy like this, like these big moves. But it's okay. Like it's fun. It's finally good to trade now. Having said that, like the weekends, okay, the weekends I've been thinking about this. The weekends are always going to have like major moves aside from the low volatility, the low volume. Like the big boys aren't at work, okay? Like you don't have Grayscale working. Like they can't protect anything, okay? They're not going to protect any areas on spot. You're not going to have any big money protecting anything on spot because they don't trade on weekends, okay? So this area, okay, during the week, they're going to protect it. The spot buyers are going to protect this, like the big money, like the institutional money is going to protect this. On the weekends, they pull their bids. They're not working, so they come down here. There's no one to. It's all longs closing. Now you see this candle, okay? I see people yesterday saying volume, large sell volume, large sell volume. Even on the 1 minute, large sell volume. 100% is large sell volume, but like you got to take into context why there's large sell volume. Okay, so I'm going to go over this and I'll be done with my part. So the beauty about crypto, like I said, is the transparency of the data. Okay, like you don't get this in traditional markets. You see this on a chart. I mean, you got to be like having a Bloomberg at least to know what the story is on the sells, right? So here we see the sells. We wonder like, okay, why is this happening? A person just looking at naked chart says, oh my God, this is so fucking bearish. I'm going to short every bounce. Like they're wrecked. Okay. So now I got to tell you, like, you see this? Okay. Like I'm going to explain this. Okay. So there's a large sell. Like you don't even need volume bars to know that there was a sell off. Okay. I don't even need to see this, but you got to understand the context of the selling. So I go here, I go to the site. I've given it to you guys. It's free. I look at the OI. The OI is just off a cliff. Okay. Look at the OI just drop. The open interest. Okay. Is just, well, I don't need the, it's just like, oops. The OI is just off of it. Look, price dumping, OI dumping, OI dumping. Okay. What does this tell me? This doesn't tell me that bears are in control. This tells me that people's stops are getting run and there's liquidations. Okay. So like, don't panic when you see this saying, fuck, I have to short right. I have to short now. Like zoom out. Like, this is a bull market. There's no doubt about it. And these sell bars, okay, these massive sell bars that you see, like whatever time frame. Let's say I look at the hourly, okay, because I know a lot of people who trade the hourly. You see these two, you're like, oh my God, this is so fucking bearish. Look at this dump. Look at this dump. Like, yo, relax. Okay, relax. Like, you see this, it's not bears in control. It's just longs closing. If I saw this and the OI was going like this, okay, like short every bounce, but it's not. Okay, so you have to understand. You really have to understand the context of the volume bars. That's why I don't look at these because they can be misleading. Okay, yes, they show you the amount of volume, the amount of dollar value, or the amount of bitcoins, whatever that was traded in one candle. Great, but let's just see the momentum of who's in control, right? In control, we have there's this. It doesn't tell me that the bears are in control. It tells me there is one big sell, right? One big sell, like that just started triggering like stops, and you imagine below here the stops are going to come anyways, right? Like as soon as this broke, like we knew that the stops were going to come because it's just support, right? And then boom, 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 boom. They all just get hit, and eventually there's no one left to none left to liquidate, and there's buyers. They step up. I bought it. I bought the stop loss. So like you want to get stopped, don't even worry about setting a stop loss. Just DM me and you could just sell me your position. All right. Like if you longed here, just say, hey Cardi, like I want to sell you my position at 14.4 from up here. I said, okay,
OTC
no
deal.
problem, I'll take it.
It's an OTC deal.
Yeah, give me that OTC deal. I'll buy your fucking stop loss. You know,
No
like
fees, baby. No fees.
but like for real, guys, like you have to like not trading with open interest is a pleb mistake. I'm sorry, but it is, and you're trading like crypto Twitter. Like this is free. Okay, I'm not paying for it. You know, like this doesn't say that bears are in control. This says that the bulls are still in control. Okay, because we always have was long closing, and every bounce is longs opening. You could see it. The open interest goes up. It's not like shorts closing. If price kept going up and I kept seeing the OI dropping, it's just shorts closing, and then fine, we could look to short. But every bounce is people trying to buy the fucking dip, and they're just going to keep buying the dip until they don't buy the dip anymore, until we see like a $2,000 candle on the way down, which I don't think is anytime soon. So
have to buy the dip.
does that mean we could see like 13.5 still? Yes, we could. Okay, like I mean, I have stink bids there. Like the odds of getting them are probably slim, but in any case, like just understand, guys, that like I saw like people and I said it was ugly, but I saw people in the margin saying ugly sell off volume. Ugly, yeah, it looks ugly on the bars, but it doesn't look ugly here. This is just longs closing. I see this. When I see this, okay, in a bull market, and I see longs closing and price dropping, I'm looking to find like a bottom to buy. All right, and where's that bottom? No one knows, but you got to think like, okay, the OI's going back up. Get rid of them, and then we slowly climb up. All right, so that's the end of my like I'm going to talk about.
I
Just
add
want
to
to look
this.
if you guys
I'd like
are
to add on
watching.
top of this.
If you just want to know where the prices are, you can see them again. I'm just going to hold it up here for a second, so when people watch, if they want to put like resistance prices or whatever.
Like
And that's it, guys. Really understand the context of the volume bars, because like you look at a stock or something like that, or you look at futures, you don't know what's going on, right? Like, but if you look at crypto, we have this kind of data, and this data is valuable. It's very, very valuable in understanding the momentum and the market context and who's in control. This is not bears in control. This is just longs closing. It was maybe one bear that triggered everything, and that's it. All right, guys.
Cardi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me share mine real quick. I just want to add to this. It's important stuff there. Oh. Oh, I froze. God damn it. Sorry. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, but we can't see the stream yet.
Yeah, I had to reconnect. Sorry about that. Here we go. Not letting me.
All right, hold on a second. KJ, while you're loading up here, Jay just wants me to show open interest quick. So I'm just going to say one more time. If the price is going down, Jay, and if you see the open interest going down, that's just longs closing. If price is as price bounces and price is going up and OI goes up, that's longs opening. If we saw like Bitcoin going up like this and the OI dropping, that's just a short squeeze. So this was like a long squeeze. Think of it like that. And now that we see that the price going up and the OI slowly climbing up, that's people opening positions. Okay. I could explain more in detail, Jay, but I don't want to take too much time of the call. I'll explain it. If you need, just ask again. Okay.
That was really nice though. Very clear.
Yep. Yep.
Like it's such a valuable tool, the open interest, and no one uses it. Like very few people use it on crypto Twitter. The people who don't use it are the people who short the bottoms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's almost only Hasaka using it publicly.
Well, you got to understand who's in control, right? Like obviously the bulls are in control. Everything gets bought up.
Okay, Jake, now I can see a stream.
All right. Can you see mine? Okay. So just to piggyback on what Cardi's saying and just give my own thoughts on this. I do use volume, but you have to, exactly like Cardi said, you have to keep it into context what the volume means. And, you know, when you're looking at the hourly, yesterday, I mean, this is still BitMEX, but like it looks like, oh shit, like it broke out. But you have to kind of zoom out a little bit, because when you get a volume breakout like this, that would usually imply that the bulk of the move just occurred. So, you know, like as in it's going to reverse for a little bit and do either a flag or a shockwave in the opposite direction. But when you go to like the daily volume and you look at what happened, this was not a volume breakout. And you could argue that, the volume has been declining, but right here it reversed and it's starting to break out to the buy side. And on top of that, you have to factor in this is BitMEX. So with all the lawsuits and shit, the amount of users on BitMEX is significantly lower. So the volume is never going to reach these levels again on this exchange. So it would imply, I mean, I don't know. You'd have to be a mathematician, which I am not, but you could probably like make an estimate that, had the whole thing with Arthur not happened and the lawsuits and all that, that this volume could potentially have been way higher here. But
also we would probably still be trading at 10K.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right about that.
Yep.
Yes. So I like to look at the volume on the 1 minute, often to kind of signal like that's kind of how I try to find. I'll look to see how much the volume went up, and then if it makes a structure that I'm used to, or I feel like I can recognize well, then I might make those type of trades. But I am looking for the big volume and or the larger volume in the time frame, like locally. So when you have the move towards the bottom and the volume really comes up, and then it makes like a horseshoe or something like that, that's like my cue to play the opposite direction.
So what you're saying is you're looking for anomalies in the volume and how the chart reacts to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. That's really cool.
Thank you, Chris. So, but yeah, like I look at it on the 1 minute, but so we were talking about this earlier, I think with Bitmonk, but the way this has recovered so far does remind me of like this structure of the full recovery from March.
It's super similar. Yeah.
In the sense that it didn't really give you another shot down here. Like it happened very quick on the low time frame, and that was all you got. And everybody's kind of fearful as it's recovering. So now it can do a couple of different things here. I've seen a lot of people. So this line, basically this level right here, where it just like falls off a cliff, or you could call it this level, like either of these lines. I guess this is the level because you had the retest here, and this is where it got rejected the first time just now. This is an area in between here. You don't need to be 100% precise, but somewhere here is like the resistance where a lot of people are going to look to short. I've seen people planning that since yesterday, saying, "Oh, I'm going to wait till this level to short." And you know what? They might get away with it, but if you just, I mean, you have to play the trend, right? And I think we can all agree which direction this market is trending, as is all markets right now. But you can short this, and like maybe you'll be in profit, but it's going to come back and get you. I mean, I really, you can play it. Like this is the area to play, but I could see this level being retested. Looking at this, like if it were to do something like this, like a little Yosh action here, something tight, start to push up. As soon as it like crosses over this line, there's going to have a ton of momentum. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. I think it's going to take everything out here. So, overall, like people are asking, like, what do we do if we longed in here? What do I do if I longed here? I like the concept of moving the stops up, and looking at this could develop into something like this. Right? Comes back up, then goes back down. Stop run. And does that again. Like this can happen. It can definitely do this, and that could end up being like a higher time frame version of this structure, and then you get like this, like that. So, if you're in longs down here, like that's why I like moving the stops up. You can even play it tight here. You could play it tight up here because if it dumps out and it goes back, 15, 14.9, something like that, retest this level and this wick here, like something here. I like longing here. So 15.11, 15.1, I'm sorry. 14.950 to 15.100 is the area I like to long if it comes back down. And like let's say you're long and you get stopped out here or like here or something. You can either relong here, or if it continues to break out, it's going to do something that'll look just very bullish, and like you just have to buy a little bit higher, but it's safer. So all in all, I'm with Cardi here. I think
Listen, there's no one that could say you can't short areas and you can't long, but if you've been getting wrecked in this area, like and you've lost confidence, like, oh fuck, where do I buy? Where do I just have fucking bids and buy the
layer
fucking dip?
exactly.
That's it, bro.
Layer. Make sure that if your lowest order hits, you want to feel like good about it. You don't want to feel like, oh shit, like I'm about to die. Like you
If
need
your
to.
lowest order hits, like you want to be like, let's say it goes to like 14.2, you want your average to be 14.250 to 14.280, like because you should get a bounce above water, Like you don't want your average entry to be like I had yesterday, like 5.15 or whatever. Like you're like, oh my god, like this. You really have to fucking focus and say like, okay, what am I gonna do here? So that was just bad layering management on my part.
If like your low doesn't hit and it gives you a bounce, like now you have options. Like there will be another situation where you can actually add more size to it. You may have to buy a little bit higher. You don't have the bottom, but you're in a situation that's like a very high probability situation. So, if you look, everybody should be very familiar with what this is, right? Like if you're not, then like, and you're new to the group or whatever, like if you don't know what this is, like you ask questions and be active. And this is a structure that you should be very familiar with seeing. So when this capitulates, right, and then recovers and pumps right back into it, like that's normally that's a pretty good sign. And then you're looking for for this to kind of like go up here and then do something, and then as soon as this breaks out of here, like if that happens, you have to understand that it's incredibly bullish the same way. So we have this like right here. This was nasty. This move right here was nasty. This stopped a lot of people out right here. This was a nasty one, but it didn't break. It held. So when it holds, which way is it going to go? If it doesn't go down, it goes up, right? So it goes back up, reaccumulates in this area, and then makes it back to this neckline. Stop somebody out here, fake out. See, it didn't take this top out. It has to take this out. This was a fake out. Put it back down. This was nasty as fuck right here too. But this level holds again. This is like kind of the area where the core position is being built, right? I believe that because this was the area where they didn't want to go any lower on this move. So twice right here. And then once it breaks this high, right? So it got rejected. This was a sign to be like, oh shit, I got to be careful here, right? Because it really faked out nasty. Remember 14.080? I told you that was the exact price. I'm like, that's the level. Like, if it gets past that level, forget about it. This is fucking going to 16K, no doubts. Like 14.80, it's got to get past it. But as soon as it goes above that, forget about it. So like people ask like 14.150, that's the price level. You could short this, but if it comes back to it, so this is kind of similar to like what we're seeing now. This is your neckline, breaks above, there's a Yosh, breaks above, and then as soon as it goes up here, now once it breaks above that level, and I forgot who I was having the conversation with, but like when that key level gets breached, it usually pumps for like $100-$200, and then it retests it again. So like you don't have to like market by that breakout. All you need to do is like at that point you need to change your mindset. Like there's a very high probability of this breaking out completely and going to another level. So you either market buy it like right away, or if you miss it and it pumps above it and you're like, what do I do? What do I do? Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Wait for it to pull back. and then get in again. So like it gave a lot of chances to re-enter. This was the key one right here. So as soon as you're here, now it's just fucking bullish. Like once it starts doing this, you just have to buy. That's it, because it spent a lot of time in here and now it broke out of it. Like what else direction do you think it's gonna go? So same scenario here. This doesn't have to like completely leave right away. This can do a lot. Like it can kick a lot of people out before it breaks out. But once it crosses over and it starts to do like what I was just showing or something like that, and we're looking in the 17s. Then we're looking at new all-time highs potentially. So, keep an eye on it. But overall, it's still very bullish looking, and you just want to keep buying dips, in my opinion. So, move forward. Pass it on to Stillman, and
Okay, let me share my screen real quick. Okay, starting with the fear and greed index, we're aware we're in extreme greed. We've been there yesterday and the day before, I think. Yeah, it's 3 days now. Still, we're kind of like on top of the last zone. Like we can spend time here, as I said a couple of times already. It doesn't mean we have to reject immediately. So, but just so you're aware, this is the area we're trading in. And as I said last week, I think I said this on Twitter actually, where this is where I expect a lot of volatility, basically. So the emotions are at extremes, so you get larger price swings. So this was last week's hash rate crash, and I said, like on the raw data side, we were already able to see that it would bounce, and it did. This is how it looks this week. But we got that, I think, like second or third largest difficulty adjustments to the downside, and there's another big one expected, but it's still 8 days out, so I think we have some time to watch and observe this. So BLX, we now filled the full size of this expected bounce, pretty much like up to like $200, I guess. But this looks good still, since we have been bouncing off of the channel. Ethereum USD also bouncing here currently off of this very nice level. We got the bounce of this key support resistance area that we talked about last week. On the weekly, we can see this too. I'd say I'm curious how the weekly candle closes. I think even if I guess if we like break down way below these levels again, you could argue that this could take the shape of a top. Currently, I don't think that's the case, but we'll wait for the close to understand that. Now, Ethereum BTC, this is like I didn't have as much time to prepare for the call because I had an internet outage this afternoon. It came back in time, luckily. But I wanted to go over a couple of aspects that made me buy the dip on altcoins, basically almost to the hour. Although BTC dominance broke the channel to the upside, and basically that was a point that would have spoken against doing it. But I had so many other points of confluence that told me I should take the trade, take the risk. And one was this. We basically hit this upwards channel on Ethereum, hit this pretty strong support zone that I had marked. This one didn't work out, obviously. And that led to this super bullish engulfing daily candle on Ethereum BTC.
what a candle. Holy shit.
Yeah, that candle is
Okay,
crazy. Like
that's
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Only
Look at what it's
happens.
doing now. That's bullish as fuck.
Yep.
Really.
Obviously, like hitting resistance now, but it still looks good. And the BTC dominance chart on the weekly actually is broken. The weekly goes up to here and still sits here. I don't know what's up with that data. Obviously, we did fall on the low time frames. That's you can see that. So I went to the 3-day, and we already closed the 3-day, and this is a pretty bearish 3-day candle. This kind of doji with a super long wick to the upside. It reminds me of this inverted hammer we got here, for example. This was also like a fake out of the channel, though, so there's another similarity there. And we dumped right and closed right back in the channel, which I like to see. But obviously, when this happened, when we were here, this was like the point that would have spoken against taking any alt positions. So now I'm watching this candle develop. Like I'm like back on the daily and like see how the weekly close once that data is cleaned up. It usually does. Like the total market cap charts are also cleaned up on TradingView now. They don't have that weird wick anymore. So if we close back inside the channel today and the weekly, I think that we could see more movement on alts. So I'll keep you updated on that. Oh yeah, Ethereum dominance. This was another point of confluence. I had this box marked since forever. It got filled, and we pumped on another 3-day channel. So this was basically the other side of that extreme. Although we fell out of this channel. This channel wasn't that great in the first place. I never liked it 100%, but it's helpful. And we got like, we faked up below the EMA. We filled this box and we pumped. So this is one reason why I decided to take positions. Total market cap just looks super strong, and I think it might be like front running Bitcoin again in terms of how it's taking out these levels, these historical levels, as it has been doing for like maybe like the whole year basically. Alts market cap still looks weaker, so that's the data point we should recognize. Although it does look good in my opinion, especially the way it's like consolidating above where it just wicked out before. So alts don't look bad in my opinion at the moment. RSR, we had on the BTC side, that's the one, we had the bullish divergence, and we seem to be flipping this resistance that another member pointed out, I think was Shrimp, pointed out this nice diagonal right here. It looks like we might be flipping it. We still got the 200 EMA above us. But on the USDT side, it just looks very strong. We are taking out all this resistance right here. So this looks pretty strong. It's also breaking trends on the lower time frame, better than other alts. And these were like the indicators that told us, okay, this might be a buy soon. I think this was like right there before we got the last dip. So like that. AST BTC, similar story. Like it hit. I had this box forever, then it came, and I tried to play it, but I stopped out quickly. And then I said, okay, we could get the lower box. Then when the lower box comes, I'm going to play it, right? Despite how BTC dominance looked at the time, especially since like this was the second one. I pointed this out on altcoin trades, how it reacted here. And then there I said like, okay, this is starting to look really good. We got like the 30, 35, 40% bounce. Very nice. But the 200 EMA is still its arch nemesis. As you can see here, like this is the hourly, and it just can't break it, can't close above and like do proper flip. Always just wicks out. Here again, like absolute nemesis. But this could be making a higher low here. So I'm still in the position. I took a little bit of profit, not at the top, like kind of here, I think, because, you know, who knows if Bitcoin really breaks out again strongly, then alts might take another dip, go into more divergence, and then finally have like a longer time to breathe.
Oh, can you go back to that for 1 second?
Yep.
Really good point. It's on that EMA. It's clearly the final boss of resistance. And if you look at structurally, to get above that, it would have to reclaim the neckline of that dump.
Yeah.
Both dumps actually. So you see where you were just moving your cursor, that one,
this and
that one.
Let me do the
So
pointer thing.
You can take risk here and keep a stop, or you can just keep this on your watch list. And if it reclaims that level, I mean, the potential or the implications of upside are very high probability.
Yes. That's also what I told people in altcoin trading. I told them, if you don't want to
very
buy
good
this,
analysis on that.
wait for the EMA to break and then buy the pullback. basically.
You don't need the absolute bottom on this to do well.
No, I mean, like, a couple of weeks ago, the absolute bottom was here, and we were thinking, wow, this could be a great trade. So, if you end up buying here, that's great. You still have a lot of upside left.
Yeah, if it breaks out there and then gives you an entry up there, forget about it. Like that would be very, very bullish.
Yeah.
So just look at the volume. See the volume too?
Yes, KJ was talking about volume. I wanted to point this out too. Like, this isn't great.
Oh, but that's that because it broke out so heavily and didn't break support. That could also imply that that was it.
That's true. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. So AST being here, and then the USDT chart. I also had this gap marked since like forever, since we were like in here, I think. And if we go on lower time frame, when I saw this, like, why wouldn't I buy? The confluence between this and this and RSR, and now we're getting to this is the low time frame AST. This actually doesn't really fall into my thesis right now, but this is the chart from last week, and we actually broke down here, tested this level, and I actually longed the reclaim. I commented on this in margin trades too. So here we broke down, this held, and then we made this structure on this super high time frame trend line, and that's where I played it. And I said that it could go to this fib. That's where I had my DP set. I'm completely out again, and I wasn't around because I took my Saturday off. I wasn't around for this. This is like crazy how this tested right here. And now I'm watching at the moment because obviously this is resistance, and I'm waiting for new leveraged entries. Don't want to be like super impatient and lose the profits that I made past week. Yes, the last part of the thesis, which I also called, this was like the buy the 1 month past last week, and the next one will be the 1 hour now. So I had this box also since forever, since Xavi and I missed like the original. We wanted to buy that pullback actually, and it never came. So I had this box, and then now months later this happens, and I caught this candle. Right, this was when I caught it. I was like, okay, I've waited months for this box to fill. It fills, so why wouldn't I buy it? And we got the 40% bounce, and it actually testing the upper part of this box now as support. Again, the 200 EMA on the hourly. This is looking a little bit stronger than AST, although it never it had a super strong sell-off, so it hasn't tested this in a while. I could still see this chopping around a little bit. This was the USDT side. Last week, I had these levels marked. Then when we get the last level, again, like it was the last level I marked, if that comes, I buy. And last one I also watched, but didn't decide to buy, although the bounce was really good now. But I had this also from that last week on my watch list. And this was like the first test of that box. It's also an older box that I had there for a while. And then when the second test comes, again, like perfect, stop below here and you can play it. But for me, it was like another piece of confluence. This actually bounced better than the other alts I played. So yeah, but it's like 10% difference. Doesn't matter that much. But still, that was the last confluence. That's basically the end of my presentation. I need to check the charts now and see where I want to, how I want to play this further, but I didn't have the time yet today. I'll update you in the channels.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Who's going next?
I can go.
So,
Go for it.
Okay.
It should be the right one. I don't have much time left, so I keep it short. Just give you an update on the plays we did the past months and the past 2 weeks, also since my last update. So I'll take it from here. This is DXY. And I mentioned to you 2 weeks ago that this bearish structure here was a bit too easy to short, right? And that I would expect it to form into a bull flag, which then we actually went on and tested this resistance and then broke above. And then I mentioned to you, like, I don't know how high this can go, if the bull flag can bring a new high and maybe bring us all the way here to this uh, support resistance level, or if it will fail on the way there uh, at the equal low or before. And anyways, we broke above bull flag after bull flag, and then went on to do I would say for now, so far here, a bullish retest of this trend line. And then we have this crazy bullish candle here on that retest, exactly on the retest on election night. This is as the result were coming in from the first states on the East Coast. And but this was not sustained, and we actually didn't manage to close above that high. So this bullish retest kind of failed, and then from then on. And now we are actually lower than when I said this was too easy to short. So now we actually broke that support trend line. We even did a bearish retest of it. And so now that was a crazy shakeout. We had a crazy week. And now I think we can go on, and of course it's not going to be a straight line. This has been very a straight dump already, but I'm sorry, we lost like almost 3% here. And I mean, so now we are aiming for the box I was showing you 2 weeks ago. um, so obviously, yeah, we didn't go that high, and we aren't gonna get the 7% dump from all the way there, but can get this out of the way. But anyway, yes, I mean the dollar is probably gonna be remain his bearish structure now, and price action. So quickly jump on the VIX. We have this. We broke 2 weeks ago this zone here, this area, the 32 area, and I think this build up came from the fact that in Europe, and also like across the Western world, COVID is on a very tough second wave for the society. And on top of that, we also had the election and the possibility of unrest. And we're not going to debate all of this, but basically, we had all of this creating this whole bearish momentum. And when we broke 32, I said, I don't know how high it can go, probably the red lines, but it could go even higher. But as soon as we come back below 32 and we do a bearish retest of 32, I think it's going to be very bullish. So we went exactly to these red lines. Could have been higher, I don't know, but this is where we stopped. And then it looks like now that the elections are more or less settled, and that we don't know how much noise Trump is gonna make. But like I said, let's not debate that. But it looks like this whole build-up that was in the first place, we would think built on COVID fears and maybe some of the election, but mostly COVID fears, was actually retraced just on the fact that the election went well, quote unquote. So it's like we don't care about COVID anymore at all. You know what I mean? It's like build up on COVID, but dump on election easiness. So this looks very bearish now, and we're going to get these lows. So we'll see how it goes the next couple of days. On Monday, Trump wants to file lawsuits again, whatever. So we'll see how the shops goes. But I think that was a big part of it that's out of the way. So like I said, I don't have much time, so I'll just update you on charts that we had that played well or not. So we had Baba a play 2 weeks ago. So the first trade here, the first trade ID went well, and all the way up. I can remove it now. And the second one, after the TP here, the red line, the second one that I mentioned in the chat, well, maybe the entry was too low, but I guess this line would have been the better entry, but I'm still gonna stick to this plan and believe that maybe that was a top and this could actually give us the entry. So I'll wait for this. I'll be patient on this one. I'll stick to the plan, even though it looks like maybe we're never gonna have it. If we have it, I'll take it to 64 around that. Uh, we could have it. We have Google that actually played brilliantly and on the way to the 1800 target. Not from the first entry that was here, I was giving in the 1550 area. We only got shaken out here on the 28, but if your stop was where it was supposed to be, well, you should be pretty happy right now. Same happened with Facebook. So this was the Facebook trade. Obviously, many times it came back to entry many times, but never took the stops, and ended up giving a nice move here, and could still go higher in my opinion. And so that was well. We have something I want to show you too, very quick. Nvidia, I mentioned a few times that I think Nvidia is one of the market leader. I mean, if you look at the weekly chart, it's just like the most parabolic, one of the most parabolic I think in the stock market right now, and especially with this weekly candle we just had closed on. And so if I go on the daily, we had this bull flag that we talked about with D King and the team, and we tried to catch it around maybe a day too early, like here. So we had a final dump here, and we ended up breaking above and going all the way here. So what's interesting here I wanted to mention is that this dip here, the bottom of this flag here, the maximum pain area, was on the 30th of October, and then on November 2nd we have a higher low, right? And then we went on to break the flag, and that was the play. And I think D King brought the play, give us a signal on that dip, and played this bounce very well. But what I want to say is that you see how here is on the 30th of October and the higher low on the 2nd of November, right? If you go on Apple, which is the market leader, you see that actually the election dip was November. So what was the higher low on Nvidia was actually the low on Apple. And so that's, I like to watch charts as a whole and market as a whole, and
So it's like literally leading, right?
what?
The market leader is literally leading in that case, like if Nvidia is one of the most bullish ones.
Right, exactly. So if when you see the higher low happening on Nvidia when Apple is at a low, well, if Nvidia doesn't break, right, that go lower, drained by Apple, for example, and manage to stay higher while Apple is bottoming, then you'll be on the lookout for like reversal structure and thinking, okay, maybe the bottom is in on the market. Plus you had the like I said, the VIX approaching like like on November 2nd, you see it was already making a lower high, right? So like this was the structure you wanted to maybe think we have a low in place in the market, right? And it's without having to wait like later on the 4th of November. But even if you waited on the 4th of November, this is exactly here, which is we gapped up, and then you know that was the entry, but that was as good, where you don't want to necessarily zoom in too much and get shaken out or buy into morning volatility at 9 or 10 a.m., right? So this was a clearer trade, more expensive, higher, but like clearer trade that was provided. But otherwise, yeah, we had nice plays. The only one I'm very, very salty about is Uber. Uber, see, we had... I'm salty because I exited this trade way too early, but you see, technically that was the trade here. That was a trade idea. So I don't know. Maybe some people happy and not salty as I am. But that was a trade that was given, and we actually never were stopped. But I exited in profit and then at break even. But if had I kept my stop, we had a very very nice about 14 or 15% move. Actually, yep. So we definitely try to enter when we saw this long term since inception, basically bearish trend line being challenged a few times, and so we ended up breaking above, and I guess Uber is probably entering into a bull market right now. So keep a look on that. And what else do we have? Oh, we had hold on. I had a trade on silver. Why is it not showing up? Oh, I don't know where it is. I had my squiggly line on silver, but I guess it's another layout. But I guess I'll just post it in the channels, and I'll get back to you with that. But basically, you'll see that we predicted this to the descent, but I'll show you that later. Another one we had was Tesla. That was on the very long call I did. 2 hours recording you can find a week and a half ago, where I gave an entry box on Tesla, basically that box. So we start filling it here, then went above on retesting that bearish, because we broke that trend line, that purple trend line. So that was pretty bearish, but we filled the box and then bounced, sort of did a short-term Dalai Lama, but that was rejected again by that same trend line, the purple trend line, and then went on that dump. This yellow trend line is actually weird here, but if you go on the daily, it's just that deep. So on the daily, it looks good, right? And so we even went on dumping below that yellow trend line, but I see this as a macro bull flag, right? So and Tesla is just hinching higher and higher and higher, right? And with the whole market, and so I gave you this this green box to start layering in a spot position for the next leg, and so far that was pretty good with a stop at 350, right? That was for now that played out well if you follow that trade idea, and you see that actually we reclaim that yellow trend line, and so basically you can confirm that all of this was a bear trap, and we went on reclaiming very quick, and then Dalai Lama, and now this looks pretty good, and so I leave a few minutes to Chris, and I guess I'll probably, if there is a request, do another session tonight, because we have way more stocks to talk about. So we'll see, or probably wait maybe the market open and see how everything happens. But overall, the outlook on the market is it's pretty good. But I think there will be opportunities. I think the same way, just TA wise, I think there is room for a long-term dip, right? Like even on Apple, you see we have this big gap here that we actually never this gap that we never filled, right? And maybe we will never feel it, maybe we will never feel it, but I will not be surprised that the market will get very, very keep being choppy and ejecting people and inflicting pain. I will not be surprised that we make a new high here, 140, and then as we get approaching to when Joe Biden is supposed to enter in to the White House, like is it like mid January, right? So I wouldn't
The
be surprised.
20th of January.
Right, and Tesla earnings, that this one should be decent, would be like beginning of February. So like definitely, I would try to be ready for like an earning ER run, right? Like starting somewhere around like mid-January. So if you want your ER run like, oops, what is this mess? There, I would not be surprised that we can already like now make new highs and then have a dump that will take us there and then being bullish onto 2021, right? But so like this could very well happen. I don't know, maybe that was enough shaking, but we could have like a very, very long flag here, because when you think about it, we went from the COVID bottom that was already 160%, and I would not be surprised that we have some sort of shakeout like this, like Tesla did it many times, something like that, and so, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll get ready. There will be more dips. There will be more entries, and we take them one by one. And so far we're pretty good on the Tesla one and on the rest. Or maybe Zoom very quick. Zoom looks very good. I love this macro bull flag on top of like bullish structures. So if this goes, it's bullish, and I'll just cut it I'll cut it here for now, for me.
Okay, cool. I'll just flip over. Belong. Okay, you guys can see my screen?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. I'm not going to cover BTC too long once again because everybody's covered it and we're pretty much all in alignment. So going forward, I'm just going to cover stuff that maybe hasn't been talked about, like meta stuff or ultra macro stuff, if it hasn't already been covered by Stillman. So just to reiterate, BTC is super bullish, and I've been telling people that this reminds me a lot of 2016, pretty much when I got into crypto. I got in 2015, but 2016 is when I was really active, and this, brought back flashbacks. And if you look at this right here, I mean, the structure can't be more obvious right now that this is in a hyper bullish structure, even if you take the dip in March in consideration, which I don't, because apart from that March dip, which is due to COVID, we stayed above this trend line that was established right here. And the 2 points originally were actually there and there, but it's following that right now. We've never dipped below it, and ever since we've gotten above this 2017 trend line, we actually haven't even tested that line back. We just bounced off the MA and took off from there. Now, this structure right here, just keep this in your mind. If we go back to 2016, this period right here makes me think exactly about the period after that huge dump in 2014 and this first blip and then the second blip where we are right now, just before it took off again. Obviously, if this was to scale, we'd be going to $1 million next year, and I don't think that's going to happen. But I think that this is a very good indication of being in a super bullish market that is also a fractal of something that's happened before.
This is very much in line with my weekly and monthly indicator fractal too that we've been following.
There we go. Cool.
Absolutely.
So as I said, some weeks I won't cover BTC because I think that everybody else does it, excellently before it gets to my part, and I don't want to regurgitate the same things over and over again. So onto the markets. The VIX. Here, let me just take off this noise for now. The VIX, the Dixie. And then after that with the SPX and the crypto majors going into bullish right after everything has happened in the last bit. Now, I'm expecting this to change somewhat depending on what happens with the finality of the elections. And I'm not talking about Trump doing any kind of messes whatsoever. I'm talking about what happens in the Senate. Optimally, I know for the economy it'd be great if it was all on one side, like Democrats control the Senate, et cetera, et cetera. But for the markets, that's not true. For the markets, what's always been good in the past and historically is a divided government. That means one has got the presidency and the other one's got the Senate, because this allows for a very, very stable platform for the status quo, which markets always love, because you don't get any kind of unexpected regulations that change. You don't live in any kind of sphere of uncertainty. So obviously for trading and for the markets, the best scenario is what happens in the Senate, and the Republicans keeping control of that Senate. So we have to keep an eye for that, because if it happens that the Democrats also get the Senate, I expect this VIX thing right here to go right the way back up, the way it was. The US dollar, we'll see how that goes. Up to now, I said if Biden won, it would tank and then it would slowly creep up starting end of Q1 next year. So far, I mean, it's true to form, but I don't think you can even call this election over yet. So we'll see what the US dollar does in the days to come. Crypto majors, we've actually passed a pretty important milestone right now. If we're able to stay above this cluster right here, I think that this could be a very good beginning of an alt run. I mean, obviously we're in a mini one right now, but it fluctuates, it goes up and down. But I think that this right here, if it's not just completely BTC driven, could indicate a very good beginning of an alt run and a continuation. Moving on to privacy coins. They have stalled. However, they're printing somewhat of a bull flag. I am looking at this area right here. We've gotten to Monero in around 80 some odd dollars. If this breaks this area right here, I think I'm going to get out. Oh, no. Seems like Discord crashed. Give me 1 second.
He's back.
He's back.
Am I back?
Yeah,
you're back.
Except that now I can't even see the Discord screen. That's so weird. It just disappeared. All right, it doesn't matter. I'll continue.
We can't see the screen.
You can't see the screen. Okay, let me just restart Discord. I think you're gonna have to.
Yep.
Control. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, you get the share screen again.
Every time that happens, I think that my internet gives out again. My provider said it won't be up until tomorrow morning, so this would fucking ruin my Sunday trading.
Okay, I'm gonna have to force quit Discord, so I'll be right back in a second. Really? Updating now? Jesus Christ.
Supposed to reach Miami?
Sorry about that. It seemed that Discord thought this was a really good time to update while I was using it. Okay, let me try this again.
Sounds like Windows.
Let's not go there. All right, you guys can see my screen?
Yeah, you're back. Good.
All right, thanks. Okay, where was? Okay, Monero. Yeah, as I said, if ever we start to break past the structure, I'll be out of that and just waiting to see what happens with privacy. But for now, I mean, the ones that had to run have run. I spoke about Beam and Grin, as not being really a good place for me right now because of just, a downward spike. I still believe this. I think that they would have to make a confirm higher high before I'd start wanting to play this. And for the rest, they just remain flat pretty much. So moving on to pot stocks. All right. So as you know, Murphy's Law would dictate, I stopped looking at these things, so they started running. These right here that are colored red are the ones that are accessible to Americans as well. I mean, most of the interesting pot stocks are in Canada for now. But the American ones have already run, because obviously, there's a much bigger market, a lot more interesting to trade. The ones that are strictly Canadian have not. Now, I played iPot last week because I think that this has got a good ways to go before it gets to its mean level of trading, which I got with the VPVR earlier on. And it hasn't moved yet. I mean, it's been staying in this kind of weird accumulation zone that it does sometimes. So if you do have access to this, I know that they do have an OTC as well. It might be worth a play. This could take a while to resolve, though. And since it's one of the only ones that have not moved, I thought it was a good thing. I've already protected my entries. Were above by a few points from where we entered in. So, but this one could run. The other ones have already run. I'm not interested in playing those yet. However, I have put a whole bunch of alerts on them, and if ever they start to go into consolidation periods, I will notify you guys if there's any play to be done with that. Silver is the other play that we laid in a while ago when this broke down through the 26 level. Scared the crap out of me there, but it's been in this nice accumulation range right now, and this is bullish. Once again, here's a comparison of this latest little move that it did, a comparison with gold. This is why I like to play silver. I mean, it's moved over 2 times more the amount that it did with gold. If you're playing this on SFX, that's a much better bang for your buck. So once again, still bullish on silver and still prefer playing silver over gold. US oil, we took this short right here. As I said, just before markets closed, moved my stops to break even. No reason to be in risk on this one. With Biden winning, I don't think there's going to be any kind of move against the oil industry just yet. So there could still be a whole bunch of narratives that go through, which could make this right here trade between these two areas for the foreseeable future, which is still below my stops. The stop loss originally. So yeah, if you haven't moved it yet, I think you're still in a safe position. You can look at this on Monday, but I still think that this is going to probably go into this next area before going another leg down into the 20s, where I would like to take profit. I'm going to finish off with tech stocks in Twitter. I am very much in alignment with everybody that tech stocks are very bullish. More importantly, the stocks that have been under attack by the previous administration, or the current administration that is now on its way out. I don't think that Biden is going to be as hostile towards this. So I think that everything here is going to continue on a move up. So I really like Twitter. However, I would probably want to get these around here. As soon as we've had earnings after dumps, I don't think this dump was caused by anything that was caused in the previous administration. I think it was just the earnings report. Every time they have a negative earning report, it just dumps a little bit, then comes and retests this and goes back on its way like it's done a few times in the past. So I'm not too worried about that. Let's not look at the March dump, but all the others right here goes back, retests, goes back up. So that's it for my segment. Anybody have any questions, put them now in general, and we'll try to answer them as best as possible.
All right, good call. Get it done before 11:30. Enjoy your Sunday, everybody. Keep an eye on the open, obviously, for futures, and we'll talk to you in the room. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.